Welcome to Sustainable House Day for North Keppel Island Environmental Education Centre. North Keppel Island is located 18 kilometres across the water from Yeppoon in central Queensland, just north of the Tropic of Capricorn. As the whole island is a national park, the site is leased from Queensland Parks and Wildlife Service. It is also located within the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park. This was some footage taken from our Mavic drone that we have at the school. A really great panoramic shot of all the islands, as well out to the north here, and you can see right out. Such a beautiful day, all the way out to Outer Rock. The residential side, as the centre is operated by Education Queensland, and it provides environmental education for Queensland school students. It is also available at weekends to be used by community groups. Because of its sensitive location, it is important that the centre is operated in a manner which minimises impact on the natural environment. The centre acts as a role model in sustainable living for visiting school groups and provides an opportunity for them to put into practice. These are the entry signs at both the A4 entrance and Sandy Beach, and a little bit of information about the biosecurity, and we try to keep the weeds and nasties off the island. The centre is built on a former basic tourist resort and is being progressively refurbished into a higher standard of sustainability. The centre is entirely off-grid for power and water. These are some of the A cabins. All these accommodation cabins are built sustainably with lightweight materials, but also meet cyclonic and wind building standards. There's some of the water tanks that are attached to it. Most buildings at the centre have water tanks. This is a photo of an interceptor. The interceptors are on the side of the buildings. All the water flows through sophisticated filtration systems before it is used. This is one of the downmost composting toilets. All of the A cabins are fitted with these composting toilets. Just a little bit about the water on site. All water is collected on site, with over 950,000 litres of water stored in fiberglass and concrete tanks. As I was saying before, those interceptors on each downpipe, they prevent most contaminants going into the tanks. All water flows through, all that water the students can monitor it daily, so that goes to water usage, and then they can work out how many litres per person is used for the week. So this is the North Keppel Island Environmental Education Centre dam. This is for water irrigation and firefighting. And here's just a little image. The kids can have a look at this little thing here. It's a power meter reading. And we can also calculate how much power is used per cabin. And the most sort of eco and sustainable group for the week gets awarded a prize. They're very handy little monitors that we've just recently installed, and we've had visiting groups collect information. That was just a little picture of the louvers instead of windows. They have large opening doors on the front and back, including verandas on the western and eastern sides. The A-frame roof space are all insulated. I forgot to mention that there's also LED and solar hot water, which reduces energy consumption. And those composting toilets in each cabin use no water. Those toilet cavities are ventilated by a continuous electric fan. But what we're looking at here is our new classroom. Our new classroom is called the Inspiration Hub. We're very happy with how this space turned out. It's a much better use of this building. We've recently put these fly screen doors in, all those glass louvers to get that natural airflow. So those air conditioners never get used. It's all just natural airflow, so it's really great for that space. is underneath our longhouse building. Very open space, lots of that airflow that comes through. It very much ventilates the entire building, which is a really great space for the kids to be. Also out of the sun, and also when it gets wet, this is a really great space as well. These are some of the visitor cabins. Up on the hill is the radio tower. Just a few good shots of what's actually around at the centre. That's the satellite dish between the dry lab and the staff room. This is now a bit of composting that we do on the island. All the kitchen waste that's taken to this greenhouse is composted using the soldier fly larvae. This compost is then used to help grow native plants that are on the site. Transpiration beds are used to dispose of the grey water, and salt waste is returned to the mainland. Now this is inside the dining hall. There's a really interesting Bob Burrow calendar there. This is some really amazing paintings and information that is in this room. Now this is inside this is the power bank where all the sustainable energy is stored. Electric power is provided by 30 kilowatt solar panels and a 10 kilowatt wind generator. That's backed up by a V10 gas powered generator. Energy is stored in a bank of what we're looking at here is 120 lead acid batteries. The system was originally set up by Ergon Energy as a trial of remote area power systems. It's now been adopted in many areas across the state. Students do monitor the daily usage in their cabins. This is the site where we keep the gas. So quite often we'll do gas runs on the island. And here's some of the solar panels that face the north. So this is the workshop in the shed, and we can see some of the other solar panels on the centre. The solar panels are excellent. They capture a lot of the energy needed for the centre. This is another shot of the dam. A bit of a view going the other way. Again, this is inside the workshop. Just behind this door in here is the inverter room. So we have the big units on the side, alternating current, direct current, and then just behind that door there is where those batteries were in the previous scene. It's a very sophisticated setup. But we're very lucky to have it and have this kind of energy that we use at the centre. Now this is an interesting thing on high energies. If we have too much, it's a wind turbine load dump. So those coils heat up. I guess the way to get rid of that excess energy is by burning it off. So that glows red hot. But we could also use that energy to pump some water up the hill into one of the many tanks that we have. Palm fronds are definitely a forever battle on the island. But we put them over and pile them up with the help of the weekend groups near the greenhouse. The natural environment is preserved by ensuring no plants or animals are introduced on the mainland. So just looking at that greenhouse, only local plants from the island are propagated. So those are some of the tanks that are under the ground. There's a couple of the older above ground ones. So no waste is allowed to enter the surrounding waters of the Great Barrier Reef, especially where we are. So this is entering the greenhouse, some lights there. We're very lucky to have the greenhouse, and a lot of the students get involved in what's happening inside this spot. And then just a look at a few of the plants that we've got going on from all the compost that's happening from week to week. There's massive efforts from our groundkeepers and the weekend groups that they put a huge effort in to make all this possible, and then we can teach lessons about weeding and planting and propagation to the visiting students that come, and then they can somewhat have a fantastic week on the island, and then as a bit of a takeaway they can then plant something, so when they come visit in future years, perhaps what they're planted will still be there and be a part of the centre, sort of following through and doing a good act for the environment before they leave and finish their time on camp. And these are the composting bins with the bricks on top, so the students will empty their compost or their waste and scraps from the kitchen, and that's where a lot of that compost is there ready to go. It's just a big shot of entering the these are to keep the possums out, so we've got a lot of these things around the poplar gums. The possums can be a bit of a pest on the island, however national parks have done a great job at keeping the numbers down. There's lots and lots of vegetation. This is one of the main entrances at the A4 ramp. You can see Reef Beach in the background, a spectacular day. Lots of pandanus palm, she oaks, and there's some of those beachstone curlews. We get lots of beachstone curlews and other birds. They're frequent to the centre, as well as recently we've had the orange-footed scrubfowl. They've been building a bit of a mound. Yeah, they've been building a little bit of a mound. So we're very lucky to have them. There's all sorts of different species on the island. Because it is a national park, we always keep the kids, or make them aware of what is here, and we need to look after them because this is very much their space. And just lastly, there's another shot of those beachstone curlews that quite often hang around the cabins. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and to learn more about the centre you can log on to our Facebook page or check out our website. Thank you very much for the Sustainable House Day video.